To all the non-believers, 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 non-believers. I'm making out.
What's good, y'all? This is Jay Varsity, and welcome to another episode of NBA Talk. Last episode of the Finals Edition. This is episode 150, and all I gotta say is that I'm still in awe from what I saw last night. I'm in awe of what I saw last night. What we saw was stuff of legend. What we saw was stuff of legend last night. We saw a legendary performance. This was something very special for the NBA. What we saw was one of the greatest things to happen to the NBA, and that is Giannis Antetokounmpo. Now, before I get on to my Giannis praise, I have to say one thing real quick. I have to apologize to Giannis Antetokounmpo for the way that I criticized him deciding to sign that contract extension before even trying to test free agency. I want to personally apologize for criticizing him for doing that. I thought he was taking a huge gamble by staying with Milwaukee. Milwaukee being a small market team, and he took a gamble, signed that contract, and people and me and some other people. I thought it was for selfish. I thought it was that he didn't want to test out free agency because he gave that, I don't want to see little kids burn my jersey explanation. I took that as a weak excuse. Other people thought he just wanted the money, that he was just taking advantage of the moment. He didn't care about winning a championship anymore. But we were wrong. We were definitely wrong, and I was definitely. I'm glad I'm wrong about Giannis. I'm glad that I'm wrong about Giannis criticizing. Let me correct myself. I'm glad I was wrong for saying that Giannis took a gamble and staying in Milwaukee. He knew exactly what he was doing, and Milwaukee did him right by getting the right pieces, and they got the job done. And Giannis put on one of the most legendary performances in an NBA Finals, in a closeout game at that. A 50-point performance for the ages. A 50-point performance for the ages. The Bucks only had scored 105 points, and Giannis scored 50 of them. Now let's get on to talking about the entire game, and then I'm gonna continue with my Giannis praise. The game started out. The Milwaukee Bucks came out on fire. They took a 13-point lead just like that. But then, just like what we saw from the Phoenix Suns throughout this entire playoff run, they fought back. They fought back, and they fought back hard. This was not an easy game. This was not an easy game for the Bucks to win. Let me make that clear. This was not an easy game for them to win. Now, granted, the game was very physical. There was a lot of contact in this game. CP3 came out, and he went out swinging. And that's one thing I'm glad that I saw from CP3. I'm glad he stood aggressive. He went out on his own shield, man. Like, you saw that the Bucks' game plan had changed defensively, and they focused solely on stopping Devin Booker. Devin Booker had probably the quietest 19 points I'd ever seen. I from time to time didn't even notice when Devin Booker scored because he barely had the ball in his hands, and when he did, he got trapped so quick. It's not even funny. Like, anytime he was on a drive, Giannis was either at the rim or he was guarded by Bobby Portis, PJ Tucker, Drew Holiday. He was being physically guarded by somebody, and he fell into a trap every time he went on a drive, and his shot wasn't falling. This game was very sloppy from both teams. I think there was like 27 turnovers in total combined from both teams. There was like 27 turnovers. So this was a very sloppy game from both teams, but it was also a very physical game. DeAndre Ayton to me was an absolute no-show. He He could not get his body right whenever Giannis was driving to the rim, and that's why he got a lot of those fouls, and that's why Giannis got to the line so much. Giannis was very aggressive in this game. The Bucks got aggressive whenever Giannis was taking over. That one dunk from Brook Lopez on DeAndre Ayton was nice. Drew Holiday came in on the defensive end. He didn't have the best offensive game. All in all, like I said, it was a very sloppy game. Both teams are nervous. A lot of things are on the line. But in the Suns' standpoint, they just couldn't. They fought as much as they possibly could. The Suns fought as much as they could. CP3 took them as far as they could possibly go. They tried to get Mikal Bridges going. They tried to get Cameron Johnson going. Jay Crowder had it going in the first 3 quarters. He had it going, but the thing was, and I knew it. If Devin Booker wasn't gonna somehow get 40, then the Bucks were gonna win this game. CP3 tried to do everything. He tried. And then the foul trouble started piling up. CP3 at one point had 4 fouls. Devin Booker had 3 fouls. DeAndre Ayton had 5 fouls, I believe. Then you had to throw in Frank Kaminsky, and I called ball game as soon as they threw in Frank Kaminsky, because he was not going to be able to stay in front, was not going to be able to bang with some of the bigs in Milwaukee. He wasn't going to get physical with Brook Lopez. He wasn't going to get physical with Bobby Portis, Giannis, PJ Tucker. He wasn't going to get physical with none of them. So from the moment I saw Frank Kaminsky come in the game, I said I wanted to say ball game, but then the game was that close that I couldn't say it. I really could not say it. But then the Bucks took over defensively. And this is why the famous phrase goes, defense wins championships. That's what the Milwaukee Bucks hung their hat on, and they won with defense. So when I hear guys on TV, especially guys like Brandon Marshall on First Things First, oh my God, I can't believe this guy's even allowed to talk basketball. That he says you could win an NBA championship without playing defense. I laughed. I couldn't believe the audacity that he had to make that take. I still remember that like it was yesterday. The Milwaukee Bucks won the NBA title off of key defensive plays. Giannis is the finals MVP, and he made some of the greatest defensive plays in the finals. Giannis had 5 blocks, but it felt like he had 20. It felt like he had 20 because I feel like anytime somebody was going to the rim, Giannis was right there. He was bothering every shot. Like people, legit. I think the Suns were at one point hesitating to go to the rim because Giannis would be up so high that it's like, how they'll be hesitating. How high do I have to throw the ball up for him not to smack it out to the 3rd row? Like, it was an absolute dominant performance from Giannis Antetokounmpo. He did everything last night, whether it was scoring, rebounding, getting assists, getting blocks on high efficiency. And I'm going to add at that, for anybody who wants to throw efficiency numbers, it was absolute domination from Giannis Antetokounmpo. Absolute domination. Giannis is a Milwaukee Bucks legend. As of right now, he's a Milwaukee Bucks legend. He's the only other player to bring a title to Milwaukee aside from Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and Oscar Robertson. Giannis Antetokounmpo, Jrue Holiday, and Chris Middleton, this Milwaukee Bucks team is going to go down as one of the greatest Bucks teams of all time. Now, I don't want to hear nothing about how lucky they got to get here. I don't want to hear that. I really don't want to hear that. We had to deal with the Golden State Warriors and their nonsense and their quote unquote dynasty, even though they battled the most injury-riddled teams in the Western Conference. I don't want to hear nothing when it comes to the Milwaukee Bucks. I don't want to hear nothing. I really don't. This championship was so special and great for the NBA, especially for a small market team like Milwaukee. For a small market like Milwaukee to come out as to be the team that has the NBA champions now, this is a great thing for the NBA. I'm pretty sure Adam Silver is pretty much saying now maybe there's going to be a shift in how teams build contenders now. Because if I'm being honest, building super teams is becoming very repetitive. It's becoming very, very repetitive. Now, a lot of people want to blame LeBron for the super team era, but we're not going to get into that topic. I don't blame him for that because I feel like the super team era has always existed, but it's existed in different ways than one. But back to what I was talking about with the Milwaukee Bucks. The Milwaukee Bucks have went through ups and downs, trial and error. They've learned from their mistakes. And they got tougher. I feel like the 2019 roster was more finesse, and it was more of a finesse team. It was either Giannis gets the ball and then everybody just stand around and just try to shoot threes. And when Giannis got stopped, there was no way the team was going to function. You saw it in the Toronto series in 2019. And in 2020, in the bubble, Miami got physical with them. It was a bad matchup for Milwaukee because Miami was a great three-point shooting team, and the Milwaukee Bucks always took gambles on letting teams light them up from three. They always hung their hat on protecting the rim. And Miami was just a bad matchup because they were a great three-point shooting team. And they were not afraid to go to the rim because they weren't afraid of those big bodies, and they got physical and made a wall around Giannis, which was the biggest hump that Giannis has ever had to go through was that giant wall defense. And then you got this year to walk into this postseason, sweep the Miami Heat, go up against Kevin Durant and the Brooklyn Nets. When I get to that, I don't care about the Brooklyn Nets injuries. I don't care. I don't care if James Harden got hurt. I don't care if Kyrie got hurt. James Harden still came back for Game 5. He stunk up the joint. Kevin Durant got so much praise for Game 5, and then Game 6, Brooklyn blew it. Then Game 7, I don't give a damn if Kevin Durant had his foot on the line. He blew it. The Bucks came and won Game 7. That's all she wrote. I don't want to hear no excuses, and I'm done with that. The Milwaukee Bucks walked into Brooklyn. They won Game 7 in overtime, and that's the only thing that matters. I'm tired of it. I'm sick and tired of people not giving the Bucks credit just because, the favorites to win the East, the Brooklyn Nets, one of the players got hurt. Kyrie got hurt in Game 4. James Harden played Game 5. He played Game 5, 6, and 7. KD played all 7 games. We praise Kevin Durant's legendary performance, but yet nobody gives Giannis his credit for Game 7. He went toe-to-toe with Kevin Durant, and he came out the winner. Last time I checked, it's about W's and L's. And Brooklyn got the L, and Milwaukee went on. And then as we keep going, the Milwaukee Bucks, they run into Atlanta. By Game 4, Giannis suffers a hyperextended knee, and we thought we were never going to see Giannis for the rest of the playoffs. So the fact that the Bucks made it to the finals finished the series without Giannis, we were like, are we even going to see Giannis in the finals? Like, we were all thinking that. Don't tell me nobody had a doubt in their mind that Giannis was going to play in the finals after you saw that injury, because that was something. That injury was hard to watch. Like the fact that his leg bent like that. By the grace of God, Giannis didn't suffer a serious injury is beyond me. But it was a miracle. Giannis came into the finals, and he's absolutely dominated. The quietest game he had was Game 1, 19 points, and then Game 2 he puts up 40. Game 3 he puts up 40. Game 4 he puts up 32. Then game 5 puts up another 32, and let's not even forget game 4. He had one of the most iconic blocks in NBA Finals history to close out that game. He muffs DeAndre Ayton at the rim on an alley-oop. Like, come on, bro. And then game 5, Drew Holiday and Chris Middleton put up the same scoring load as Giannis, and they put on a masterpiece of a performance from a big three. Drew Holiday gets the steal to seal the game and throws the game sealing alley-oop to Giannis, and it was all she wrote there. And now Game 6 will forever be remembered as the Giannis game. Game 6 will forever be remembered as the Giannis Antetokounmpo game. 50 points, 14 rebounds, and 5 blocks. I don't even remember how many assists he had. I think he had like 5 assists. But this will be remembered as the Giannis game. Like it was stuff of legend, people. Watching Giannis win this title was special. Watching Giannis hoist that Finals MVP trophy was special. We hadn't seen something like this in a long time, where Giannis, being the lone superstar, wins the championship. And it's so crazy how so many players didn't want to see Giannis win this championship. How many actual NBA players didn't want to see him win this championship? I'm so glad Giannis won this ring for one specific player in general. I'm glad Giannis got a ring before James Harden. I'm so glad that Giannis got a ring before James Harden. Because he was the number one Giannis hater. Now, I don't care if Giannis says, oh, what he said in the All-Star game, oh, our strategy was to go after whoever was on James Harden. Like, I don't care. I legit don't care. The fact that you had a whole interview talking about how Giannis is not skilled and all he does is run and dunk. Well, yeah, this guy that just run and dunks and dominates in the post, he has a championship and a Finals MVP now. Giannis has a Hall of Fame resume. Yes, I'm saying it right here, right now. Giannis is a Hall of Famer already at the age of 26. Giannis is already a 2-time MVP, a Defensive Player of the Year, a 5-time NBA All-Star. He's made first team all defense, I believe, 3 or 4 times already. Now he has an NBA championship and a Finals MVP. Giannis is already a Hall of Famer. This performance capped off Giannis to be a Hall of Famer already, and he's only 26. We are entering the Giannis era. Now, granted, guys like LeBron, KD, they're not done yet. They're not done yet. But Giannis made his statement in this NBA Finals. He made this statement. But now let me get on a side note real quick, and let me mention something about the Phoenix Suns. For the Phoenix Suns, I don't want nobody disrespecting the Phoenix Suns either. The Phoenix Suns made it. That's all that matters in that they made it to the NBA Finals. Now, people are gonna say, "Oh, but they beat injured teams. The Lakers weren't healthy. The Denver Nuggets weren't healthy. They didn't have to play against Kawhi when they faced the Clippers." I don't care. As of today, I don't care. I don't want to hear none of that. The whole point was they made it to the Finals, but they lost. That's it. But they were the ones representing the West. The Lakers weren't representing the West. The Clippers weren't representing the West. Hell, Utah was the number 1 seed, and they lost in the second round. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. Phoenix was the best team in the Western Conference in the playoffs, and they did what they were supposed to do. They made it to the Finals. Now, obviously, they wanted to win it, but they did what they had to do. Chris Paul went out the only way he knew he could. Devin Booker was exhausted, and you could clearly see it in his face. He put the Suns on his back for 2 straight games, 40 points back-to-back. He had 30-point games left and right through the finals. He put on multiple 40-point games throughout the entire his entire playoff run, which was his first playoff run, by the way. Let's not forget this. A lot of these guys, this was their first playoff run, and they did a phenomenal job. They did a phenomenal job at that. The Phoenix Suns are they're not going to be this afterthought in the Western Conference next year. They're going to get more respect from these teams, which means you're gonna have to fight in order to beat this Phoenix Suns team. Now it's all a matter of if for next year when it comes to the Western Conference, because everybody's gonna be healthy and what additions everybody's gonna make. But all in all, Monty Williams, amazing coach. This Phoenix Suns team, a well-coached team, well-rounded team. Give them their respect too. Devin Booker at 24 did an amazing job. Mikal Bridges did an amazing job. Cam Johnson, amazing shooter. DeAndre Ayton is still got room to grow as a big man. This team will be back, but the road is just going to be tougher. This team will be back, but the road will be tougher. And when you got guys like LeBron and AD, you got other teams that are going to be more healthy. We got to see what's to come. But back to what I was saying about the Bucks. To go from an organization that drafted Giannis Antetokounmpo and have Chris Middleton when they were the worst team in the league back in 2013. They were 15-67. To go from that to 8 years later in 2021 and say that you are now the reigning NBA champions. You're now the NBA champions, and Giannis Antetokounmpo, the guy who was picked 13th in that draft, 13th or 15th in the draft, I'm not so sure, my numbers might be off. He's your finals MVP. I don't think anybody could have predicted this. I don't think anybody could have predicted that. But I'm so glad to see the Milwaukee Bucks win the championship. I'm especially happy to see guys like Drew Holiday, PJ Tucker, Brook Lopez, Giannis, Bobby Portis. I'm glad to see all these guys get the championship. They fought for it. They earned it, and Giannis needs to get everybody's respect. I don't want to hear nothing about questioning about if he's one of the best players in the league. I don't want to hear nothing about that today. Giannis did what he had to do. Giannis is a Milwaukee Bucks legend, and he's already a Hall of Famer in my book. I think I said everything I need to say. That's it. That's all. Like, comment, subscribe, and hit the bell if you like basketball content. Stay safe. This is your boy Jay Varsity, and I'm out. Peace.
We got some non-believers out there.
Make believers out of non-believers. Make believers out the overseers. Make them bow down.